Hello, welcome to Diary of a Creator. So if this is your first video, welcome. I am Victoria, and this is a channel for the change makers, the freedom seekers, anyone that is on the journey to listening to your heart, your soul, and paving a different path, one that actually lights you up. You are in the right place if that is you. And if this content resonates, then I would appreciate any subscribes, likes, or shares to help me to grow this channel. So today I'm going to be tackling a very big fear that will come up for, I've not met anyone yet who hasn't tackled this fear, particularly myself. This is actually my biggest one. And so I want to talk to it because it can really be a big roadblock when we start to take this different path. And it is the fear of being seen. And I don't mean there's a variety of different ways to be seen. I mean being seen. So like from the soul of who you truly are, the parts of you that you've probably hidden from others in different shapes and forms. And obviously there's a lot of depth to this fear, but this is one I tackle myself. And it's really pretty normal for this to come up when we do pursue paths that look different to what we've been leading our life up until that point, because we start to kind of veer off the track of where everyone else is going, and automatically it shines a bit of a light on us. And then that light or attention that we start to get, or criticism, or shall I say, starts to make us want to pull back. And this is where we start to come up and head into the fear of being seen. And it really will disable a lot of people from moving forward in this. And where does this fear come from, and why is it such a thing? Well, it boils down to our survival instincts, and it's about our sense of belonging. And so within our survival instinct, I call it the ego. You can call it whatever you want, your monkey brain, any of this stuff. It is simply geared to survive. That's what it's doing. Now, in order to survive previously, and also to a degree now as well, because connection is a survival point, we do need to belong to a tribe of people. And when we start to create shifts in our life, the people that are around us and the environment that are around us is obviously where we've been before, but it's not where we're going. And so we start to feel a little bit different to the environment that we're coming out of. And the people that are in these environments, they're very used to us behaving in a certain way. We've obviously adapted ourselves. We've learned that within our environment, in our family unit, there's certain ways that we behave that's going to get us acknowledged and praised. And we've been operating in that forever, basically. And so when we start to break free from this stuff, we start to come up into this fear. Now, the interesting thing is this search actually kicks off from a deep inner craving to be seen as who we are. That is really at the crux of what all humans are really, really craving, is to just be seen as who they truly are. But not many people are, because, and obviously there's layers to it. You can see me in some sense now. Am I like fully out? Well, no, but I'm way more out than I was 2 years ago, right? So this is the journey, but this craving is what leads us to kind of start questioning things. And then the moment we start to push against the grain, when most of the people in our life are still going with the grain, we start to be seen a little bit, and this can bring unwanted attention, some good attention, but mostly speaking, it shines a bit of a light and we start to feel exposed. And then this is where the fear comes in. And we really are facing this dilemma where we do crave to be seen, yet there is a huge fear of it at the same time. And what we're actually facing here is an unraveling of codependent relationships and reliance on others for our self-worth. So it's a big one, because we, and when I say we, I'm including me too. Well, obviously, because we would be me anyway. When we, through our conditioning process, we are all in codependency. We're all like reliant on environment and others for validation, acknowledgement. And when we kind of pull that away, it's actually kind of terrifying and very, very exposing. And so the fear itself, it isn't an unwarranted fear either. And I think that is the point to make, because there is a dynamic that happens. And I'm going to share my story on it. When you do start making change and you do actually become a lighter version of yourself, you are going to be met with criticism and judgment and projection and all of these different kinds of things, because the people in your life want you to be where they used to have you, because that's what they're used to. And so just to kind of share a bit around my story with this, because this is something that's been unraveling for me, for this is my core like wound as a fear. It's really a sense of not being safe to be who I am. And the feminine and masculine energies come up predominantly with this for me. And I'm sure with a lot of you, you'll be able to resonate with this as well. But my core energy is in the feminine. It's very empathic, very open, very kind, very big-hearted, very soft and gentle. But I came into an environment that was anything but that. And I'm not even going to go into the details of why, but through a succession of that, the walls needed to kind of come down in and around me. And those walls were of the masculine shape. They very, very, very protected, basically, because there's a fear of being seen as the what felt as a child to be the more vulnerable parts. And the word power comes up in this as well. And so fear of being seen has a lot to do with power and who you feel has got the power. And there is a dynamic that has always shown up in my life and continues to show up in my life, which is what the fear of being seen is really central around, which is really this, it's an archetype of masculine women. So they are women, but they're in the masculine energy. And through very different shapes and forms in my life, in all different kinds of relationships, I can spot this archetype showing up now, because it's starting to kind of shift out in a huge way, where these are women that would want to take control over me and then take spotlight. There was no space for me in it, no space for the feminine, and that's including themselves as well. And this has really been the recurring theme. And a lot of the energy that was around this was quite heavy, very pointed. If I would get the spotlight in any shape or form or regard, it would be like a barrage of energy where I would just be thrown with criticism, pulled down in a variety of ways, like some overtly, some like kind of not. And then over time, I just learned to stop being seen, really. Like it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth my time to even try and be seen, because I was just going to be met with this energy always. And so for me, the fear of being seen really presents as flight, like I just walk away. And this is something I've obviously come here to learn, to take my power back in these instances. And as a child, I would just kind of let it happen. But then I also had a part of me that would fight it, except not fighting it from my core. I was fighting it through masculine. And so going into a corporate environment, which is full of this shit, the only way I knew how to be in that environment was in the same energy that I would get from these women growing up through corporate. And I would, in essence, meet them with the same energy. And ultimately, that's still just hiding, because I probably in corporate looked quite powerful and dominant and kind of pretty aggressive at times, actually, to be honest. But that's not me. I'm actually not even showing up as me. There's no me in that. It's literally all protection. And it's all really to stop that energy, which I'm now taking on, overwhelming who I truly am. And so for me, the dynamic of actually being seen in the energy that I am has been quite vulnerable, because there's always this undercurrent of fear of what I'm going to receive back. And ultimately, it's really at the skin of it. The fear of being seen is, it's a rejection of who you are. If you take all your masks off and you're standing there like naked, people can really, like, that's the core. And so this is why we start to build this fear of being seen, is we almost want to put these layers on so people can't see us, because there's something about being seen that we're protecting ourselves from. And it's really the fear underneath it, as I was saying, of judgment and rejection, but like, to kind of going back as well, is it's been cast aside from the people that we have come to know, to love, to belong to. Them judging us and pushing us out of the tribe is pretty much it. But the very, very interesting dynamic with this is that underneath the avoidance of being seen is there is a deep craving there, which is why, if you are listening to this because I've labeled it this way, you have this craving too, because you're aware that you want to be seen. Like for me, I was very shy and very reserved and very shut down as a child. All I wanted was to be loud and outgoing, and at the core of it, I wanted to be center of attention, yet I just was in freeze mode. I just couldn't. So underneath, there's a really deep craving there. If you reflect on that, the deep craving is there for a reason, as the same as the fear is there for a reason. And this whole dynamic is about taking power back and understanding where you're placing the power. Because when we're letting the fear of being seen override, we're actually placing more power in our environment than we are in ourselves. When we are placing power in, I want to be seen as who I truly am, the power actually starts to come back in. And so this fear is actually one that we are here to work with in a big way. Because when we fall back and listen into the fear and the ego, we just end up hiding who we are. But you're never going to get rid of the craving to not do that. There's still that craving to really stand firm in who you are, to be centered, and to not have the environment dictate and not place your power and your focus outside of you. This is really what we're being called to move through. And the way to do that is slowly, and by challenging yourself too, is knowing that underneath this fear, which is actually the truth for a lot of fears, is the fear is meant to lead us into the realization of what we're actually could be quite gifted in. So public speaking was one for me, and that took a while to unravel. But when it comes to a fear of being seen, you need to challenge yourself on it, but don't challenge yourself in an overwhelming way. And this is the key. This is the secret, is small steps. It needs to be slightly uncomfortable, but not so much that your nervous system is absolutely freaked out. Because the other thing with the fear of being seen is there is a safety element. Almost all of it is a safety element. It's a protection from what you fear is going to come back at you in a reaction to you being who you are. And knowing that, and your body's shield, if you call it that, this shield needs a little bit of time to kind of break down. And we start to do that by consistently doing small steps. So like me showing up on here 2 years ago would have been like absolutely not possible. But I've just challenged and challenged, and you push and you push. You just like kind of slowly push, and you start to notice that the masks just start to fall away. Now, obviously, I've done a lot of the deeper healing work around this, which is what I would recommend. And if you do resonate with me, I've got my links at the bottom. I work with RTT, which is we go under the skin to really like pick what's actually going on there. And like for me, it's all ancestral lineage stuff that's just being handed and pulled through the line of just the absolute rejection of the feminine energy, and then the masculine shields just coming up just to like protect from whatever comes in. And that's really what's come out for me and has been unraveling. But yeah, the thing is to know with this journey is, and this is why you have to step into it, because there's no other way. Once you start this type of journey, as I was saying, you're going against the grain, not with the grain. You can't actually hide anymore. It's not possible. There's something about your energy field that will either draw others. They'll either kind of seek it, you'll see it. For me, my mum can pick up when I've done energy work and I haven't said a bloody word, not one word, haven't said anything. It's in the energy. And it's kind of, the more you do the releasing of the heaviness, shall we call it, or the shields or the masks, it's that feeling like when you walk down the street and everyone's staring at you. That will just continue to pick up. And it isn't anything to do with looks. It's literally, it's pure energy. But this is the thing. If you, I've just got that scene. You know, when in the Matrix where he's walking down the street, or it could be Inception. It's one of those where everyone is like kind of walking towards them. They do something slightly different, and then all of the crowd turn around and spot them, and then they kind of come out of the game. Or I think it's Inception, or it could be Matrix, or it could be both. Either way, it's that. So there is no hiding in this. And so this is a fear that you need to work with. And so where is your fear on being seen? How can you break that down and just slowly step into it? Challenge your body with the level of stress and safety that it can hold in this. You'll be surprised how far you can go, but do not overwhelm it. There is a real sweet spot with that. And so, as I said, please do reach out if this is a fear that is really coming up for you right now and you really want to work on it, then just reach out. I will pop my links into this. But for everyone else, this is a slow game. Just remember, this is like dropping an armor of shield, that has been working for you. It has been keeping you safe from these energies that you've not been wanting. And for me, it definitely is. But it's really all to do with clawing and pulling back our power in and removing our focus on the out. And slowly over time, we do start to just be seen. And yeah, it's not comfortable, but it is by design. So anyway, I hope that was helpful.